Hello, welcome to the continuation of our lesson. And right now we are going to be asking questions. If we should want to ask a question, we can begin with a verb. Here is a question made up of the verb is, the noun sunburn, and the adjective painful. Is sunburn painful? The verb is, the sunburn is noun, and painful is the adjective. Of course, we can expand this question. For example, we can add the adverb usually. So we can say, is sunburn usually painful? Here we have a verb, a noun, an adverb, and an adjective. Keep in mind that an adjective is there to describe the noun, while the adverb is there to modify the verb. So is sunburn usually painful? Adjective, adverb, noun, and verb. For the next part, we have the two basic parts of a sentence. A sentence has two parts, the subject and the predicate. I repeat, the subject and the predicate. So to begin with the subject of the sentence, it is important that by the end of this section, you should be able to easily identify a subject around a sentence, either at the beginning or at the end. I repeat, either at the beginning or at the end. So what is the subject? The subject is the part of the sentence about which something is told or asked. The subject is the part of a sentence about which something is told or asked. In other words, the subject is the one doing the action. So now you have the seats on the bus are very comfortable. The seats on the bus are very comfortable. Question: about what is the sentence telling something? Now the answer is the seats. The sentence is talking about the seats. So the seats is the subject. Next, Amelia Earhart disappeared over the Pacific. Amelia Earhart disappeared over the Pacific. What is the question? About whom is the sentence telling something about? And the answer here is Amelia Earhart, meaning Amelia is the subject. Remember, the subject is what or who is being or something is said about. The subject is what or who something is being said about. The next sentence is, has your brother Tom found a summer job? The question here is, about whom is the sentence asking something? And the answer here is your brother Tom, meaning the subject is Tom. A sure way to find the subject is to answer one or the other of these questions. About whom or about what is the sentence saying or asking something? And who or what is doing or has done or will do something. Those two questions are very important for you to easily identify the subject of a sentence. For example, question: what is the subject of the following sentence? The score at the end of the quarter was 12-12. Ask yourself about what is the sentence saying something. Obviously, the score at the end of the quarter. The subject is the score at the end of the quarter. So the subject tells about what the sentence is saying something. What is the subject of the following sentence? The orchestra members tuned their instruments. Ask yourself, who did something? In this sentence, it's obvious, the orchestra members. Why? Because they are the ones doing the action. Okay, this is an exercise for you. Write the subject in the space provided. There is an example. The apples and the fruit bowl were all sour. The apples in the football here is the subject. So answer the rest of the questions that follow. The next part is the predicates. What is the predicate? The predicate is the part of the sentence that tells or asks something about the subject. You can easily find the subject and the predicate of a sentence by asking two simple questions. My sister Karen is waiting for us. About whom is the sentence telling something? My sister Karen. And the subject here is my sister Karen. So if that is the subject, you should know the predicate usually comes after the subject, but it can also appear in other positions. Predicate after the subject, the predicate can either appear before or after the subject of a sentence. The parking lot is next to the stadium. Here, the subject appears before the predicate, meaning the parking lot is the subject. Next, the stadium is in the parking lot. Here, the predicate appears in front of the subject, and still the subject is parking lot, meaning the stadium is definitely the predicate. Stadium is after the parking lot in the first sentence, and stadium is before the parking lot in the second sentence. The predicates can either appear in front or behind the subjects. All you need to do is identify what is being talked about. What is being talked about in that sentence is the subject.